보스와 그때 전세에 계신 와디의 신발장 구독자를 안녕하십니까, 와디입니다. 제가 얼마 전에 보스턴에 있는 리복의 본사에 다녀왔습니다. 그래서 거기에서 리복 본사의 아카이브 룸을 들어갔는데 너무나 감사하게도 시니어 디자이너 분께서 리복의 역사와 어떤 신발들의 디자인에 대한 수많은 말씀들을 해주셨거든요. 뭐 잘 아시다시피 요즘 와디의 신발장 그리고 신발 전체에 대한 관심이 굉장히 줄어들었습니다. 하지만 저는 저 나름대로의 그 의미와 소명을 가지고 하고 있는 사람으로서 이거는 진짜 내 채널이 아니면 보여드릴 데가 없겠다, 그리고 이걸 꼭 아카이브로 남겨놓고 싶다. 그래서 우리 한국 사람들도 리복의 본사까지 가지 않아도 그 본사에서 보여준 모든 히스토리와 어떤 아카이브들을 볼 수 있게 만들고 싶다. 그래서 이 영상을 올리니까 여러분들 꼭 한 번에 다 보실 필요는 없지만 그래도 굉장히 재밌고 유익한 신발에 관련한 내용이 들어있으니까 많이 봐주시고 댓글 많이 부탁드리고요. 요즘 굉장히 힘이 빠져있는 와디의 신발장 채널도 구독 좀 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 보스턴 리복 본사로 가시죠.
This is what Josh was telling me downstairs, the phase one.
Oh yeah.
Right here. Story for Spring 27.
들어가시죠.
1, 2년에
맞아요.
네.
이거 박스 패키지도 달랐던 것 같은데 이렇게 길쭉한 박스였어요.
맞아요. 에어리언 102번인가 3번인가 나왔었어요. 이거 뭐?
우와, 빨리 들어오고 싶은데요. Hi, YD from Korea. Good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you as well. You guys want to? Yes, thanks, Pete. You guys want to?
Oh, wear the gloves.
Please put a pair of gloves on.
글로브를.
So welcome to the Reebok Archive. This is actually one of two facilities that we have. This is the main HQ facility. But we also have a smaller facility that's about 15 minutes south of Boston. Between the two facilities, we have about 4,500 pairs of shoes and about 2,200 pieces of apparel. We also have catalogs. We have some of the original designer artwork, photos, documents, all that kind of stuff is also held here. I'm actually the senior director of design for footwear at Reebok, so I'm going to be biased towards footwear. I'm not really going to show you any apparel, but it actually sounds like what we really wanted to focus on today was some of Reebok's history in running, Shaq, and some of our details in Alien. So that's where I'm going to spend the bulk of my time. So I'll try to go fast just to kind of give you guys an opportunity to kind of come in and just poke around and touch things. If you have any questions, just please stop me. Ask any questions. So we have to begin at the beginning. So this is reference number 1. This is the oldest sample that we have in the archive. Joseph William Foster was a dedicated runner. He was a founding member of the Bolton Primrose Harriers. So he was a runner, he understood it. And so therefore it makes a little bit of sense when he gets this idea to drive 6 steel spikes through the sole plate of his pump runner and find like he gets infinitely more traction. So not just him, but the team members on his team. And because he already had a footwear business, this basically exploded his business and then became the real popularity of J.W. Foster spikes. So that's where it kind of starts. Of course, the business then brings in his son, and then it ultimately brings in his grandsons, Jeff and Joe. But around 1958, Jeff and Joe grow a little tired about how quickly, or actually not quickly, Dad and Granddad are moving the business, so they strike out on their own, and they start their own footwear business. So originally called Mercury Sports, Mercury Sports was actually taken. So Joe looked in a dictionary for a word that would conjure up speed and agility, and that word was Reebok. And that is the birth of the brand. So then I don't have a lot of information on this, but I did pull out just some other items to kind of give. There was the early Reebok, and clearly, as you can see, you know, the branding didn't really exist at the time, although when you take these shoes and you turn them upright, the idea was you're actually looking at the Olympic torch. There's the handle of the torch and the top of the torch. So that was that. And then when you look at this particular sample, there's actually a little detail between REE and the BOK. So I consider that kind of an early predecessor to, of course, the cross-check, which you'd see.
Got it.
So Joe and Jeff now want to expand the business. They want to come to America. And so Joe decides to come to the National Sporting Goods Show in Chicago in 1979. At that same time, Paul Fireman, who had several businesses here in Boston, none of which were doing fantastic, was looking for a new opportunity. So he decided to meet up with Joe at the show in Chicago, and loving the product that he saw, but he gave Joe a deal. If you could win, basically Reebok could win, 1 5-star rating through Runner's World magazine, then Paul would agree to do distribution of Reebok product here in the US. So clearly, not only did they win 1, they actually won 3. These are the 3 shoes that won those awards out here. So you've got the Aztec Princess, and the 10K. So things that I love to point out, for at least like the Aztec, so clearly it's got that very unique and innovative heel strike. This was actually meant to be a replaceable rubber bottom. Of course, dual density EVA foam, and one of the details that I of course love is the quick lace system coming down the top. Reebok's first sponsored runner is Steve Jones. So these are actually Steve Jones' shoes that he wore at Chicago. When you pick them up, you can actually see on this side, he's got the, of course he won the Chicago Marathon. The time of his run is on the side of the shoe. Again, these are, if you don't all have access to Unwoven, that's something that I have to work on. But we actually have a great video of Steve here telling the story about how he basically didn't even have these shoes the night before. He swapped into these shoes the night before Chicago, which I just think is insane. When you think about runners these days, like everyone is basically using their marathon runners for weeks or months before, and here he flipped his shoes the night before. And yeah, still crushed it. I guess old school runner, if you will. No discussion about technology at Reebok would be complete if you didn't get into ERS. ERS 2000, of course, you've got the actual high trail tubes in the bottom. So the high trail tubes were meant to basically take advantage of kinetic and potential energy, right? When you heel strike, you're basically compressing those tubes. Those tubes now want to go back to their original state. So through kinetic energy, you're crushing the tubes, creating potential energy where the tubes want to go back and give you energy return, ERS.
Which year of the ERS start? 2000?
ERS was, I think, 88, and that one's from 89.
Aha.
I just pulled out the Aztec because I love it. No other reason than that, but this is a shoe that we've brought back many times throughout the years. We've done newer versions of it. It's a very distinctive design. Great runner, dual density foams, but I think it's got a unique look to it, which is why designers keep coming back to it and getting attracted to it. So I don't have to go into really the classic leather that much, but what I like to point out is like the vast history of running product that Reebok had prior to getting into the classic leather, and the understanding of, the freestyle, of course, was where we first brought out garment leather. That was the year before in '82, and so the thought in the company was like, hey, we've got this amazing leather material, right? What if we put it on a running shoe so you could run a 10K and still go out to lunch afterwards? Really, that was the whole idea of the classic leather. It was never meant to be a serious running shoe. It was always meant to be that lifestyle running shoe. Instapump Fury, 1994. Clearly, this is not a 1994 version that I'm showing. Do you guys, anyone know what this one is?
Versace?
So it's
Collaboration concept?
It's concept.
Ah.
Exactly, yeah. So it was concept inspired by Versace, like his very ornate stylings that were celebrated in hip hop music. So I like to bring out something a little different because we all know what the OG color looks like. That one, not too many people have seen. DMX 10, 1997. So DMX, when it originally came out, was called Dynamax or Energir. Originally came out in '89 with Walking. So in '97, we re-engineered DMX into 10 pods, individual pods, on the outsole. And you can see, because we celebrated this by the use of ice rubber, so you can see how each of the 10 pods basically moves the air from the heel to the forefoot. Quick note, it should be noted that the air actually gets locked in the medial side to act as a natural medial post. The air on this side is what actually goes up the channel to the forefoot. And then clearly, when you can see it on the design, it's very, very unique. It's got the vamp tongue combination. It's one piece. It's got the ghillie straps, and of course a beautiful aluminum eyelet at the very top, making this a very, very distinctive shoe. Again, I just like to pull out things that I think are interesting, kind of tap onto that. Like, of course, later we would come out. Actually, Paul Brown was one of the original designers. Did the Diamond collection. He, of course, would blow up DMX to be a much bigger, more extravagant design. And then DMX Run 10-2. So again, just another phenomenal design with a very unique midsole.
I heard that Steven Smith invented Fury.
He designed, Steven Smith.
Yeah,
designed.
yeah.
So he did the 94.
Oh.
Trish Ying actually did the 95 update. And then soon after that, Steven would leave and do other things.
Got it.
But you know, the other thing that I do like to point out, because I think we think like, well, the Fury is the first of like the combination of all these things. In 1992, Reebok actually did a whole track and field collection for the Olympics. And so like I could pull those out, but you'll see like that's where we actually start using carbon fiber fiberglass, graphite for the plates. We actually put pump in that track and field package. So in 1992, we kind of proved the thing worked. In 94, we decided we're going to bring it out to the masses. And ultimately, the masses didn't like it. Like, the Instapump Fury was a flop when it first hit because it was just too progressive, right? The graphite, taking away that midsole and having that massive gap in there, like, that threw people off. Not having laces, right, with the pump, which is laceless, like, that just, the ordinary runner couldn't comprehend it, didn't trust it. But clearly we all know that it worked out in the end because it's, in my opinion, it's probably the, if not the top three when it comes to icons at Reebok.
But it was very strong, I mean, trend in Korea, Japan, and China, I heard.
Yeah.
At that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily worn for running.
It was like fashion lifestyle or something like that.
It became fashion lifestyle.
Got it.
But just, yeah, it's a fantastic shoe.
Yeah.
Premier Road, so this, I bring this out to celebrate basically the Premier collection in 2003. So this was Reebok's kind of coming back to running, getting rid of all the frivolous details, right? Just getting focused on running and only running. The archive likes to point out that at the time, everyone that was working on the team was a runner. I was on the team. I was actually the senior design director for running at that time. I don't consider myself a runner, but we did run. Like every year we did a 200-mile relay. At lunch, 3 times a week, we all went out and ran. The product manager in charge at the time had actually been running every day for 5 years. So I just bring that up because he was really the catalyst. He was the guy that we hired. He had actually worked for Nike for quite some time. He took, I think, a year off. We brought him in and we told him like, all we want to do is get back into running. And he says, all I want to do is make real running shoes. So that was really the catalyst because he got all of us behind him and we fought tooth and nail to just make the best running shoes that we could make. A lot of awards, of course, for Premier. That particular shoe won Editor's Choice through Runner's World in 2003. Of course, we can't talk innovation without going to Zig Energy. Zig Energy came out in 2010 with a unique shaped sole, absorbing impact and taking that impact and thrusting that energy to the forefoot. And then I also like to bring out the float ride. So this was, again, kind of a different take on running, if you will, maybe a version of Instapump, like not, version in principle, right? So with this particular model, we looked at the foams that we were using. So this model uses P-Bax foam, expanded P-Bax, so super, super lightweight. Definitely pick this shoe up. If you haven't held that shoe before, you'll be astounded by how light it is. But dual density P-Bax foam. And then of course, the heel counter is actually 3D molded, not stitched, as you can see. And then it just has a stretch boot for the forefoot, and then the TPU cage to lock you in. So super lightweight, super flexible, and a great fit. Any questions on running?
디자이너의 입장에서 좀 궁금한데, 그러니까 옛날 항상 궁금한 게 빈티지 신발들은 슈 레이스 간격이 다 좁고 그러는데 점점 최근에 올수록 이게 넓어지는데 혹시 이유가 있는지?
I think there's a little, I would say there's a little bit of both. There's technical and design. It kind of was the aesthetic to get really, really narrow, but I think one of the problems with that is everyone has a slightly different foot. Right? Even if I'm a size 9 and you're a size 9, you might have a slightly narrow foot, which means when you lace this up, those eye stays are going to come together quickly. When you widen out that eye stay, you allow for a much broader, like more broad versus.
Giving people more choices.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
more choice of
Size.
all those size
Yeah.
bands that fit into that. You get more versatility with how
Got
it
it.
fits. So I think the wider eye stay allows for that better fit. Aesthetically, it also drops this top line down a little bit, and so you get a sleeker look. That's how designers kind of cheat. Basketball, actually Shaq. We're
Yeah.
focusing on Shaq.
Wow.
So I've laid out everything that I have specific for Shaq. So clearly starting with Shaq Attack in 1992, that's when Shaq signed. I'm still blown away by the fact that we signed Shaq in early 92, and by November of 92, he was wearing the shoe. So it takes us, as you know, like 18 months to go from start to finish. You can cut some time in there. You know, if we really had to get a shoe to market, we could do it in a year. This was done in 4 months. I'm still trying to do some research on how we did that. I have to assume that something was kind of in the works because we knew we were going to try to sign a player. And then when Shaq came on board, like, okay, now we know the player, let's finish up the shoe. But yeah, still blown away by that. The particular shoe that I'm showing is actually a collab. Do you know what this collab is from?
No.
So this is actually with Packer.
Oh.
This is a collab from 2014. This celebrates Shaq in the movie Blue Chips, where he played a college student that was basically paid for by friends of the game. So these are the colors of the university they went to in the college. The other shoe that I don't have right now, it's on loan, has the number 50, which he wore in the movie. It's got reflective side stripes, and also the insole has a print on it, which is like a money print. And that's, again, harkens back to the friend of the program who paid for Shaq's university.
와, 미쳤네.
Shaq Attack 2 comes up next, and then that was immediately followed up quickly with Shaq Attack 3 in '94. This is the first of Shaq's basketball
Wow.
shoes that has Instapump in it.
미쳤다.
One thing that I think is interesting to point out is all of the Shaq Attack shoes early on were designed by one person,
Who?
Judy Close.
오.
And then E. Scott Morris, who was another designer at the time, came in. He actually designed the Shaq sandal. That also came out in 1994. Judy would then finish up here with the Shaq Attack 4 in '95. From here, we actually went from the Instapump, which had the CO2 charge. With this shoe, we actually used the hand engage.
여기다가 총처럼.
And then in '95, we went to a whole different language with, of course, the Shaqnosis. There you go. So that was, of course, a third designer. That was John Moore. That's seen to be kind of a precursor or the father of the Mobius language, design language of the brand, which would go on to be like the Big Hurt for baseball and other shoes like Kamikaze and the Splash. And then the last two, of course, are the Preacher and the Dunk Mob. These are the last ones that we have that were specific to Shaq. The thing that I also like to point out, I should have pulled that one out as well. Do you know the ES22?
Emmett Smith, yeah.
Emmett
I
Smith.
love that shoe.
No.
Yeah.
I could pull that one out, but again, because these are all the same designer, E. Scott Morris. If you look at the ES22, like they all basically use this side viz hex for both stability and cushioning. So all three shoes use it. So you start to realize it's not silly that the designs kind of have similarities. They were all done within the same year, and they were all done by the same designer.
Did he do the question as well?
He did not. Scott Hewitt did the question.
Okay. But
Yeah.
same idea.
Same idea. Yeah. And then last, I'll cover off on what we have in for Alien.
Oh, yeah.
So I apologize if there is a lot of other stuff that's out. Like we, of course, just had the business accelerator week last week, so we got soccer out and stuff. But from the get-go, I like to point out that BB 5600 is really where the Alien shoe comes from. So this bottom, of course, this is Reebok's first basketball shoe, but that's the outsole that would then go on to the Alien Stoneberg.
Oh,
I
yeah.
also like to point out that a year later, so this came out in, I want to say 4, but a year later we came out with the 50 or the 6600. So we used this tooling, but clearly we gained a lot of inspiration from the 6600 when it came to the upper. So this is the OG boot from the movie. This is actually a bring back version.
Wow.
You can see that we had to work on our gray matching. This is the OG mid cut. We've done at least a half a dozen bringbacks. So I do like to bring out this special pack that was part of a bring back. It was a 2-shoe package that we came out with the whole box. And so when you bought it, you got both shoes. And then of course we were part of Alien Romulus when that came out. So that particular shoe uses the BB 4200 tooling. This was kind of interesting. They reached out. It was didn't go the normal way. So the head of costume and the director reached out to Reebok and says, hey, we'd love to keep Reebok as part of the franchise. Can we borrow the original Alien Stomper from your archive? Because this is my side hustle managing the archive. I was in contact with them immediately and I said, no, you cannot, because they'll destroy the shoe. But I said, when do you start filming? We'll make you a shoe. And so we had about 3 months. This is actually between like over Thanksgiving holiday into Christmas. So I worked one-on-one with the head of costume, and we decided like what tooling we were going to do. Like originally we wanted to use a freestyle because we knew that there was going to be a young lady that was going to play the key role. But then the director came back and says, no, I need something a little bit more chunky. The freestyle is too thin, like too dainty. So we settled on the BB 4200 tooling. But you can see that we brought some of that freestyle language to this. This is the original. So this is the shoe that we got. And this is what we sent to the movie set. This is the actual movie that was, or shoe that was worn in the movie. So you can see what they did to it. And then right when we got that back from the movie, I immediately thought, we cannot go to market with this. That's why we distressed the Romulus version of the shoe. I did it to match this.
Right on.
Yeah.
So actually,
I don't know, there was like 50-50. Like I because I worked on this one, I was very sensitive to what was going on online.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would say it was like 50-50 hit rate. Like some people, like first of all, when it hit, it sold out like in hours, if not minutes. Second, there was a lot of controversy. Like, why am I waiting? We're paying this much money for a shoe that already looks like it's abused. And I'm like, but that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You're basically getting a piece from the movie.
Yeah.
That was my thought process.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I just thought that this was too bold, brash, like brand new. Like, so yeah, some people got it and some people.
your decision was like 30 years earlier than trend. Like
Yeah.
these days, everybody's looking for like vintage style.
Right. Yeah, it was a little ahead. Yeah. It's true. Like I've got the Margiela workouts. That was,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you know, like that. And I really do think that we took some influence from the 6600. I mean, for me, it's quite clear to see in the language of that boot. But we probably had to have done at least a half a dozen bringbacks of the mid-cut version, which I think are fantastic. And then, of course, we've done the mid-cut version that weren't necessarily affiliated with the movie, because, I mean, a lot of people just love the silhouette. So feel free to poke around. Got gloves on, pick things up, by all means.
어, 이거 그거네. 제이지.
Jay-Z.
이쁘네.
(92년)
This was Emmitt Smith's shoe
아 그래.
from the Dallas Cowboys.
샤넬 퓨리라고?
네.
이게 그 전설의. 와 미쳤다. 이게 실존하는 거였구나.
슈에서
It was for friends and family, right? Didn't sell.
Correct. Yeah, it's never hit the market. So I don't know how many pairs were made, but it was clearly very, very limited.
와.
As you guys already know, like, this is kind of the unicorn in
Yeah.
sneaker hit collections.
와. 안에는 퓨리라고 써 있어요. 미쳤다. Actually, in late 90s, Korean resale market was so crazy about the Fury, the Hong Kong version and Jackie Chan version.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that was so
I
huge.
just loaned that out,
They remade it in Japan about 3 or 4 years ago. The Hong Kong color.
but it didn't have Jackie Chan's signature on the top.
No. He told that they released it like 2,000 pairs limited. 2018, 17. He's telling that the shape is a little bit different versus the OG version.
Yeah, I would have to look into that and see if we changed the last, when we changed the last. I have to ask, were you at the new museum?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah. only store.
Oh, okay.
Only store, but we didn't have time to enjoy the
Oh, I'm in New York tomorrow, which is why I'm like.
Oh, really?
Because I know it was completely refurbished.
Mm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff over here that's some of it is and isn't, of course. Margiela, the tappy toe.
Yeah.
So this is actually my sample.
Oh.
I worked on cleater for quite some time. So this is a shoe that never made it to market. This was, of course, our speed shoe for American football, NFL.
Mm-hmm.
At
Cleat?
the time, yeah, it was a cleat. So
Can we get inside and like look around and see the
we
pictures?
typically don't do that, but
We'll not touch the box, but we'll only see the pictures.
sure.
Thank you. 다 여기는 실루엣이 좀 비슷하게 이렇게 있긴 한 것 같아요.
These are the old ones. Karmag, we actually brought that one back. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Something that I'm trying to get us to do. You'll notice all of the old original J.W. Foster spikes.
Uh-huh.
They all have this amphibious skin on them. I think it's, to me, like, I feel like that's a Reebok thing.
Oh.
I'm going to try to bring that back
nice.
some way. Because, again, we have heritage in it.
Yes.
여기 있다. No photography. 샤넬 블랙.
Oh.
와.